They brought me here to Death Valley. Yes, that's what this place is called, Death Valley in California. And that town is called Ghost Town. That spot once had a bank and a railroad, but now there's nothing. It's an unusual place to test the new Ford Explorer, specifically the 2026 Tremor Edition. And I'm one of the privileged few, one of the first to come and test it out nationwide. I'm going to tell you why they brought us here, because this one can definitely do things that the regular Ford Explorer can't do. And we'll see if it's worth it. The price is interesting. Check out this video where I'll share all the details you need to know, and more. From Death Valley, California, welcome, goodbye. Before I show you today's adventure in Death Valley, California, a truly exotic place, it's amazing what you can do with this Ford Explorer, the Tremor. That's why they've brought us here, to show what the Tremor is made of and what it can do. I'm going to talk to you about the design aspects that are different from the standard Ford Explorer. Ultimately, you choose whether to invest in the Ford Explorer Tremor or the standard version. Now, check out this front pair and its details. The orange LED light strip looks great, works well, and the grille has a nice, slightly aggressive style. The black Ford logo, the Explorer we see up here in high relief, contrasting with a color that's kind of a blue-gray. I'll tell you the exact name of the color later. But obviously we've already been on part of the adventure and it's pretty dirty. But these vehicles actually look better dirty, all dusty, because it means they're made for action. And that's also how I like to show them. Let's go down a bit more. Down here we see a bit more functionality. Here's another feature missing from the standard Ford Explorer. In addition to the one I'm highlighting above, are these recovery hooks, rescue hooks, and in the Tremor color, the orange code, the orange color, they look really good with this color contrast. The aesthetics of all the Ford Tremor versions are really beautiful. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with me on that? But anyway, there you have your recovery hooks. And another thing you won't have on the regular Ford Explorer is this protection. Look at these metal skid plates, so you can take them on adventures like this, where you can do a bit of off-roading, where you'll face some obstacles that will throw flying stones, rocks here and there. Well, there you have your good protection. On the lower part of this Ford Explorer Tremor, and of course, since it's built with off-road DNA, having good ground clearance is important. The approach angle is also different on this Ford Explorer Tremor. You get an extra inch of lift compared to the regular Explorer, the ground clearance, the approach angle. Sorry, we're talking about 24.1 degrees for the ground clearance angle, and 8.7 inches of ground clearance. That's why I say it's taller than the regular Ford Explorer, and you're going to need it, especially when you take it off-road here on the trail. And when we talk about things that are different, distinctive about the Tremor, we have to mention the tires, the rubber that covers these rims. These are 18-inch rims. This design is also exclusive to the Ford Explorer Tremor. We can see it in the design, the texture of the tires as well. Obviously, these are tires made for off-roading, but there's something very important here when you have this type of tire. Well, anyone would say, okay, that affects the ride quality a bit when it comes to your daily vehicle. Well, I'm going to tell you next how much it affects during the test drive, how much this type of tire really impacts, or if you really don't even notice it. So we're going to find that out. But look, another aspect here is where the tire valve is. The tire valve has this fitting. This frame is also from Tremor. It's a unique feature not found on the regular Ford Explorer. There are actually several differences. The tires are 266 millimeters wide with a 66 profile. But if you're wondering, what's the difference between the engine in the Ford Explorer Tremor and the regular Ford Explorer, as we'll call it, to differentiate them? Well, what's the standard engine? The one that comes standard? In the Ford Explorer Tremor, it features a 3.0-liter twin-turbo EcoBoost V6 engine paired with a 10-speed automatic transmission, and it gives you a power output of 400 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque. Those are the figures hidden under the hood of the standard Ford Explorer V6. There's also a slightly smaller turbocharged 2.3-liter engine, not this one. That 2.3-liter turbo four-cylinder gives you 300 horsepower. That's the difference, but is there any difference between the Tremor and standard Ford Explorer? No, they're basically the same engine. What changes are the off-road features that the Tremor has, and also some cosmetic aspects that I'll be talking to you about. And obviously, the driving experience is different in this Tremor, and here we're going to start the off-road adventure with this Tremor. But look, I want to show you how the camera's definition and functionality work. If you tap this icon here, It gives you the different angles that the camera has, but obviously, you're going to want to use it in 360 mode, which gives you the top-down view, the angle from above, and what's in front of the road, which is very useful here where we're going in, because there are a lot of rocks and you don't want to scrape or damage the vehicle. But look at all the angles it gives you to see how close your tire is to any obstacle. You can see it clearly there. Look at all the angles it gives you. We'll keep it in 360 mode for now. And I wanted to show you this feature because, as I said, it's really quite useful for getting through these tough terrains. This adventure makes things a lot easier. Here they come, already walking and climbing. Okay, they just told us that we're about to reach some blind turns where you can't see anything. But that's what the camera is for, so just look. We're at approximately 4,000 feet above sea level. We're taking a Ford Explorer that handles like a Wrangler. I'm surprised how well it climbs. It's going up like a champ. It obviously has its permanent all-wheel drive. You don't have to do anything at all. And it distributes the torque as needed while you go. It distributes it to the wheel that needs it the most, to give you this off-road driving experience without any issues. I mean, without even blinking. Look at how we're climbing up here. Unpaved terrain, tough topography, sun in your face making it hard to see. But that's part of the experience. The camera assistance gives us a reference. You can't get distracted or you'll go off the cliff. Gabriel, bring the camera closer to show what happens if you're not careful. This is perfect for someone who's drunk. Because definitely, keeping your attention is necessary all the time. But I like the response, the grip. How is the Ford Explorer climbing? Tremor. These tough terrains in Death Valley, a simply spectacular landscape and perfect for this off-road exercise. And obviously we're being careful not to scratch the bodywork because there are some sharp rocks sticking out that could cause damage. With the sun in our faces, the difficulty increases. We've done a lot of off-roading and all-terrain driving on the highway, a full experience. But before that, wow, if you like the video, please like and subscribe to my channel, Freddy Car Power 360. People are illegally copying my content and making channels on various social networks, which I don't like. It's unfair and wrong. If you subscribe, which I truly appreciate, make sure it's to Freddy Car Power 360. Now, let's discuss some unique interior details of the Tremor. Are they different from the Explorer? The regular Ford Explorer, you know? Let's get inside the cabin. The interior itself of this Ford Explorer Tremor. It will feature unique badges exclusive to this model and version. Check out the Tremor stitched into the backrest near the SUV's headrest. It looks great. Honestly, that's the distinctive color. That orange color, I think it's called Code Orange from the Tremor. It looks really good. The stitching also matches the color contrast on the backrest. And the seat is part fabric, part leatherette. And we also see the seats here in the area of the central storage compartment. It comes with injected stitching. Look at all the stitching we see here in that color. It's one of the distinctive features that the Tremor has, the rest, let's say, in itself. The screen here is the same as the standard Ford Explorer. This detail here, let's say, for placing a cell phone. All of this is in the Ford Explorer. Just like all these textures, but not the color combinations. The seats are different aspects, mostly in the off-road functionality. That's where the most dramatic, most significant changes are for the Explorer version. Here we have a console that we've seen before. This is the radio where they talk to us to give us instructions. Here is the off-road control. And here we have USB-C and regular charging. This is a little stone. They told me to take it as a souvenir from Death Valley. More storage, your cup holders. The circular selector of the Ford Explorer for your gear shifts of that 10-speed automatic transmission. And you can also set it to manual. And this is your drive mode selector, which has the off-road mode, snow mode, sport mode, and normal driving mode. Well, there you have it. You can select a lot of versatility to drive your SUV. Let's open the passenger door over there because here we also have the Tremor. Unique badge. You won't find this on a regular Ford Explorer. Check out these nice hats they've given us for the cold. Tremor looks great with nice detail. We appreciate Ford, and here's the Tremor. This one has 3 rows of seats. The second row has good space, but I'll move to the third row. And this, obviously, in the video of the regular Ford Explorer, because the interior itself doesn't change. But let's see if we can see a little bit here. I'm here. In the legroom. It's a bit tight. This isn't a full-size SUV. It's a mid-size truck. Still, the third row seat isn't that uncomfortable. You have air conditioning vents, a USB connection, pockets, cup holders, and more for your adventure. And obviously, you can fold down the seats. This way, you can fold them and create more versatility for cargo. In terms of technology, you now have multiple camera angles and a wider peripheral view. Everything that, when you put it in off-road mode, that's when the camera automatically turns on by default. But if we switch it to another driving mode, for example, let's put it in normal. There, the camera disappears and you have access to the map and all the other applications it offers you. You can watch YouTube, well, everything it offers you there in terms of entertainment and useful applications for you. And the instrument panel. Do you have the same one as the standard Ford Explorer? The same applies to the steering wheel and steering. The only difference is this orange stitched seam, which the Ford Explorer lacks. But the design and function remain the same, with your adaptive cruise control buttons here, which are useful because when you activate adaptive cruise control, that's when you can, on roads where it's allowed to use the BlueCruise 1.5 system. Oh, and I forgot to mention that you have a large panoramic sunroof, which is also sliding. If you press it once, it moves by itself, but it only goes halfway. If you press it a second time, it will open all the way so you can see the whole view. Here's the Ford Explorer's roof, which brings in plenty of sunlight, especially in places like Death Valley. Since everything looks nice, it's worth showing you the panoramic sunroof, the sliding panoramic roof it has, which the regular Ford Explorer also has. But anyway, it was worth mentioning it here too, right? And here we're going up a pretty steep slope that we've been asked to tackle very carefully to see how this one handles it. Climbing like a champ. Climbing like a champ. The climb of this Ford Explorer is spectacular. Tremor without any effort. In terms of fuel economy, here on average between highway and road, you're going to get about 20 miles per gallon. Oh, and regarding the suspension, they've raised it by another inch. That's why, thanks to that, it gives you a better approach angle so you can come, let's say, and get over obstacles. Have a bit more confidence when you go off-roading. What's the towing capacity now that we're in the back? It's 5,000 pounds, exactly the same as the regular Ford Explorer, but, well, it's also an important fact for the Ford Explorer. Tremor in the rear, it's not that different from the regular Ford Explorer. You'll notice the orange accents again, including the trailer connections. It clearly says Tremor in its signature orange color, which looks great in high relief. And we lift this up so you have a reference for the cargo space here. There's no difference in dimensions, versatility, or storage capacity with the Ford Explorer. But anyway, there you have it. And you obviously have the option to fold down the seats to create even more space and versatility in the cargo area. And here we have a bit more storage in terms of versatility. And something that's spectacular about this area of Death Valley, the Valley of Death that we're crossing, is the scenery. I mean, the off-road part is spectacular, but also the highway section where you see those white things on the left is amazing too. I'm going to try to show you, right now. Those are salt particles, because we're more than 282 feet below sea level here. Apparently, at some point in time, this was covered by seawater, and that's salt. I mean, that's what they told us. I was surprised when I saw it. Sorry for my ignorance. Some snow, because it's also incredibly cold, so I thought, well, maybe it's snow on top of the mountain, but that's not what you're seeing there. The white is salt, and the natural spectacle of the mountains is really something worth highlighting. It's truly a blessing to come to these events, like I've said in other videos, because we really have the opportunity to enjoy this. Nature and such a close connection with God is really something you can feel. And what about driving, let's say, on a regular road? We're discussing the Tremor version, which comes with off-road features. With features and equipment that allow you to do good off-roading, I mean, to handle yourself well on rough terrain. But on the road, this can be perfect too, because you wouldn't imagine that this is only for taking it out there, to the trail, to the unpaved ground. No, this can be both your daily and adventure truck. I'm driving it right now on a perfectly paved highway. The tire treads, even though they have an off-road texture, don't affect the ride quality here on the highway. I like how it drives and the ride quality. The driving experience is enjoyable, with a comfortable position and good visibility. The suspension work, of course, has also been tuned to have a good response off-road. But on the road, it also feels really good. It feels like a smooth ride, and that's a good thing. And with the good power from the V6 engine, those 400 horsepower, well, that makes the driving experience quite complete. And this one, the Ford Explorer Tremor, is the one that comes equipped with the BlueCruise system, which is already Ford's Level 2 semi-autonomous driving system, the Super Cruise. This is not Super Cruise, because Super Cruise is the one patented by General Motors for their Chevrolet, Cadillac, and General Motors Company vehicles. This is called BlueCruise, and is essentially the same but with a few different features. But version 1.5, which is the evolution of that BlueCruise system, now allows the vehicle by itself, let's say automatically, to change lanes whenever it's possible. With its radars, sensors, and global positioning system, it can change lanes automatically, an advancement, but still not fully autonomous driving. I'm telling you, it's level 2, and with level 2, you still need human intervention, or at least, you have to stay attentive. If it ever stops working or disconnects, you can prevent an incident. It's not so you can fall asleep or read. You're supposed to stay alert and present. But is the BlueCruise system the evolution of the 1.5 system that has been improved with this Ford Explorer we have, and it comes equipped with that system? But one of the nicest things about this trip, about this adventure, is the spectacular view we're seeing. Look at this. Behind me is the Sierra Nevada, and you can see the snow there. I'm gonna step aside. I'm gonna move a little bit out of the way of the camera lens so you can see that view. Such spectacular beauty, definitely inspiring. A view that takes your breath away. How beautiful. Another interesting fact about Death Valley is that several famous movies were filmed here. Which ones? Star Wars, the 4th film, was partly shot here. Also, was Planet of the Apes filmed here? If you know anyone who worked on that movie, comment below. But please, only mention real connections, not your in-laws. More movies have been filmed here, television series too. And here is the spot in Death Valley, the hottest point, which reached 134 degrees Fahrenheit. It's an impressive thing, so there are a lot of facts I want to share. This aside, yes, I'm talking about the Ford Explorer Tremor 2026, but when you come to a place like this, it's also good to share these kinds of things. And what we're seeing there is also another one of those curious things we don't see all the time, and that's a zinc mine. Here in Death Valley, we have the chance to see things like this. There's another hole over there, which I imagine is also part of the same thing, but zinc is extracted from here. And that's another interesting thing I wanted to share with you. How much does the 2026 Ford Explorer Tremor cost? That's a great question. What's the manufacturer's suggested price? This is obviously the one that costs you the most, but it starts at $49,000, or around $49,000. This one, equipped just as you've seen it in this video, reaches a price of $63,000. Let me know what you think about that. Would you spend $63,000 on the Ford Explorer Tremor? Let me know your thoughts. Or if not the Tremor, which similar SUV would you choose? Here it is, the 2026 Ford Explorer Tremor. Is it worth spending $63,000 on this version? What are your thoughts? What features of the Ford Explorer Tremor did you see in this video? And how does its capability compare to the regular Ford Explorer? Let me know in the comments if you like it or not. I'm still enjoying Death Valley's natural landscape. Everything I've shown you is just a small part of what we've experienced here. So I'm very grateful to the people at Ford for this nice invitation to be one of the first in the country to come and enjoy this landscape, and the first official test drive of the 2026 Ford Explorer Tremor. Subscribe to Te Gusta este video. You're also going to like one that I'll leave linked here. Check it out too. Let me know what you think. And give the video a like if you enjoyed it, so people who like the Explorer can see it. Sending a big hug from Death Valley, California. Bye.